The pandemic has had a lasting impact on many people, leaving scars and questions about how to recover.
Yeah, New York Times bestselling author and motivational speaker Gabby Bernstein is author of the book Happy Days, which charts a path from healing from trauma. And we're so happy to have her here with us because a lot of people are going back to the office for the first time in years. So, Gabby, we have a lot to talk to you about. And by the way, congratulations. This is your 9th book, and it's published, released today on 2/22/22.
Yes, and you know me for like 16 years, so you know I would pick that day.
I knew it was you. I knew it was you. Well, let's go ahead and talk about it. How can we overcome this pandemic trauma?
We've all had so much come up in the last 2 years, and so my feeling is that we now have to show up for what's up. And I often say that if we don't show up for what's up, it's going to keep showing up. And we have to really begin to look at the feelings that are underneath the reactions that we're having. So if we're having a lot of anxiety or having a lot of stress, we need to start to look inward and identify what it is that we are feeling that we have not allowed ourselves to fully process. And all throughout the book, I begin the journey of really looking closely at your internal condition so that you can start to relax and feel safer at this time.
And speaking of anxiety and stress, you say like a lot of house rules may have gone out the window during the pandemic with the kids at home schooling and parents working from home. How so?
Well, I'm a mother of a 3-year-old, and I've had to really reorganize a lot of the things that I did as a parent. And one of the things that I did while I was writing Happy Days was I was working on really practicing these parenting methods for my son to really help him feel secure and stable during this difficult time. And I noticed that those practices were so profound that I wanted to start to apply them to myself. And inside Happy Days, I really give the whole process of reparenting yourself. And the bottom line is to the parents, the more settled you are, the better off it will be for your children. It's all about your energy and your system, and you're settled.
Yeah, they feel it. Absolutely. Well, so how can parents actually get things back on track? And what is the #1 thing parents need to know to help their kids be more resilient through all this?
I have always believed that we have to focus on our energy first when we show up for our children. There's really 2 things. Particularly, are we showing up with a compassionate energy, and are we extending that compassion towards the child and towards ourselves? And are we also really conscious of how they feel? All of our feelings get so bulldozed past, and we absolutely need to start to reflect on our own feelings, and particularly the child. And when we allow them to feel fully, they can feel safe in our presence.
Let's talk a little bit more about feelings, because a lot of people may feel that they're stuck in patterns that make them unhappy. What do you suggest they do about it?
So these patterns that make us so unhappy and so uncomfortable are often reactions to those impermissible feelings. And so what we need to start to do is become more aware of what triggers us into these patterns, notice the feeling behind that trigger, and notice how we react to it. And when we actually follow those 3 steps, we can start to get a greater awareness for what it is that we're running from, why we're in these patterns. And then we can interrupt the pattern with something like a breath practice. You know, placing your right hand on your heart and your left hand on your belly and just breathing in deeply and exhaling completely. Something as simple as this can interrupt that pattern. And that's what we have to do all day long.
It's so important to interrupt those. I'll tell you what, because they can just spiral out of control. I know, Gabby, again, we said this was your 9th book, but I know this is really a personal book for you with really personal, vulnerable stories. The name of the book is Happy Days. What does that mean to you?
Well, Happy Days is the title, and the subtitle is very important. And it's the guided path from trauma to profound freedom and inner peace. And this is a book that I wrote based on my own personal recovery. And I often joke around that I write my books for myself first, because this book was a journey of undoing a lot of the historical experiences from my past that had kept me in negative patterns and kept me stuck. And I've now come through the other side. There's no way I would put my face on this book cover with this if I did not fully believe that, and that I'm living in that freedom and inner peace. This is a very timely book. People need it now more than ever. And my prayer is that I can be a guide and a conduit through which people can experience transformational change in their own life.
so great.
Well, thank you for always continuing to help so many people every single day. The book Happy Days released today. But by the way, Dear Gabby, your podcast, you can listen to that all the time wherever you get podcasts as well. So,
Great. Well, thank you, Gabby, so much for joining us.
Thanks, guys. Have a nice night.
take care, Gabby. You too.